Now in Grand Theft Auto Online, there's a large bunch of vehicles you can buy, and in this video we're going to go over best vehicles for beginners. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. And the first vehicle on this list being the Duke of Death. Now the elites don't want you to know this, but the Duke of Death you can actually get for free. I have 10 Duke of Deaths in my garage right now. Now in all seriousness, the Duke of Death is actually literally a steal. It is free of Warsaw cash and carry, and the Duke of Death can take up to 10 RPGs or Honey missiles. And yeah, the Duke of Death is super viable if you're doing missions, that being contact missions, VIP work, security contracts, client jobs. The Duke of Death is super viable. As you can see in this footage right here, I'm actually stationary in this footage, and I'm just letting the NPCs shoot up my car. I'm taking absolutely zero damage. I would not recommend using the Duke of Death in PvP situations against other players, considering they have access to the Oppressor and Toreador. But the Duke of Death on its own, against NPCs during PvE situations like missions, I would 100% recommend, especially considering the fact that it's free. I would say the Duke of Death for sure is a must buy. Next on the list, coming in at $15,000, would have to be the Bati 801. Now technically you can get the Bati 801 for free if you can find it on the streets, but the spawn rate isn't really that consistent, so I would just recommend spending the $15,000. $15,000 in Grand Theft Auto Online is actually pretty easy to come by, considering that most of the contact missions payout is about $15,000 anyways. The Bati 801 to this day is one of the fastest motorcycles in Grand Theft Auto Online. The Bati 801 can win you a lot of motorcycle races. But not only that, you can use the Bati 801 in the weekly time trials. And if you're halfway decent with driving a motorcycle, you can easily finish these and earn $100,000 every week. The Bati 801 overall is super reliable. It can get you across the map in a few minutes, honestly. You can get from top to bottom of the map in about 3 minutes with the Bati 801. And like I said, it's probably top 3, if not top 2 of the motorcycle class. So I would for sure recommend it 100%, especially for the price of $15,000. You should buy the Bati 801 without question. Up next on the list, coming in at $1.8 million, would have to be the Sparrow. Now this is pretty expensive for a beginner player especially, but considering you can only get the Sparrow with the Casaca, I would say it's a pretty good investment. Considering that doing the Cayo Perico preps without the Sparrow is the biggest pain in the ass, you would have to rely on boats to get to your Casaca over and over again. And the Sparrow is stored in the Casaca, and you can get in and out of the Casaca pretty easily. And if you buy the missile upgrades for the Sparrow, it makes the setups a lot easier as well. Not only that, but if you change your first person view in the settings to hood view, it makes PvE and PvP a lot easier, considering it's a lot easier to aim the missiles with the Sparrow. So if you're fighting somebody that's on the ground, you can really devastate them. If you go to the first person hood view, it's a lot easier to aim with the missiles. You can also buy countermeasures like flares and chafes. So obviously you're going to need to buy the Casaca to get the Sparrow. But for the price of $1.8 million, that's like what, maybe 2 Cayo Perico heists, maybe? Up next on the list would have to be the Nightshark, coming in at $1.2 million. Now, again, this is another expensive vehicle, but you got to take into account that you don't need any paywalls to buy this vehicle. You don't need to buy the Avenger, you don't need to buy the facility, you don't need to buy an MOC. You can easily customize this in any Los Santos custom mod shop. One thing I will say is I do not recommend the armored plating for the Nightshark. It doesn't really add any additional armor unless you're playing in auto aim lobbies, but if you're playing in free aim, I wouldn't really worry about it. Also, adding armored plating to the Nightshark actually prevents you from using any sidearm weapons or even any explosives like grenades, sticky bombs, or any proximity mines. And I do recommend not buying armored plating because the sticky bomb and the Nightshark combo is just so devastating to oppressors, because the Nightshark actually takes 27 Honey missiles before blowing up, so keep that in mind. The Oppressor Mark II only carries 20 Honey missiles, so honestly you can take a whole Oppressor before getting blown up. So while you're being chased by an Oppressor, all you really have to do is just throw a sticky bomb at the Oppressor and then detonate it, and then you don't gotta worry about him. And if you're in a really desperate situation and you're about to blow up from damage from an Oppressor or from a Toreador or any other weaponized vehicle, you can just easily go into Los Santos Customs and fix up your Nightshark, and then they have to waste another 27 missiles. So I would say for a new player especially, if you got like an agency or if you have the Casaca already, I would for sure grind a Cayo Perico heist or a Dr. Dre contract so I can buy the Nightshark. Last on my list, coming in at $2.8 million, or a trade price of $2.2 million, would have to be the Virtue. But luckily for new players, you can actually get the Virtue for completely free. In order to unlock the Virtue for free, you're going to have to do the first dose and last dose missions. And in order to do that, you'll get a phone call from Ron saying he needs help. And then you drive over to the location where Ron's mission marker is at. and then you're going to watch a cutscene, and then you're going to do 6 first dose missions, which will unlock the acid lab, which is a plus, and then you'll do the 6 last dose missions. And then after doing all 6 of the last dose missions, you'll unlock the virtue for free. Granted, I will recommend, before even doing the first dose and last dose missions, I would recommend getting an agency. I would say the virtue is much more viable with the Amani-Tech upgrades, and the armored plating upgrade you can only get from the agency workshop. But once you add the armored plating upgrades and the Amani-Tech upgrades, the virtue is relatively unstoppable, honestly. The acceleration for the virtue is ridiculously fast because it's an electric vehicle. With the armored plating upgrade, the virtue can take up to 12 homing missiles before blowing up, and with a missile lock-on jammer, you don't have to worry about any oppressors, helicopters, Toreadors, Deluxos. You don't have to worry about any of those coming after you. They may try to aim down at you to try to blow you up, but much like with the Nightshark, you can easily throw a Sigma Bomb out the virtue and then you just blow up the oppressor or whoever's chasing you. So like I said, make sure you complete the last dose missions so you can unlock the virtue for free. And also, if you want it to be completely viable for PvP situations in public lobbies, make sure you have an agency so you can add Amani-Tech to this vehicle along with the armor plating upgrades. So that's my list of best vehicles for beginners in Grand Theft Auto Online. If you guys did find this helpful or informative, a like and a comment would be appreciated. Subscribe new to the channel, and let me know down in the comment section below if you think I missed any vehicles or if you agree with this list. But yeah, with all that out of the way, I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.